Okay, so welcome back to the channel, or welcome if this is your first video that you're gonna watch from my channel. So you might be wondering, where are we right now? Well, we are in my closet, which is very appropriate for our topic for this video, which is the gay culture in the Philippines. By the way, while we talk about this topic, I am also going to do my skincare. So I have a mirror right here, and I'll be doing my skincare and going over how different is Filipino gay culture compared to other gay cultures in other countries. And I can feel my skin drying out as we speak, so I'm gonna use a moisturizer first. This is just a water-based moisturizer, especially because the Philippines is very humid. You don't need anything heavy at all. I also use this as my eye cream as well. So the more I learn about skincare, the more I learn that moisturizer is, or eye cream is basically just moisturizer. And I'm not fabulous in putting this on, guys. I literally just glob it on my face. So yes, Filipino gay culture. Now let's answer the most obvious question first, which is, are Filipinos homophobic? And I'm gonna be blunt and I'm gonna be straightforward with you. Most Filipinos are homophobic. Now, the rest of them are not exactly allies, although of course there are allies, but the rest just don't care. The rest just don't care. So you probably have around 60% Filipinos who are homophobic, and then you'll have about 20% of that who are allies and who advocate for LGBT rights, and then you have the other 20% who just don't care, which is fine, I guess. Okay, after I put on this moisturizer, I'm gonna put on a serum. This is a retinol from The Ordinary, and I'm gonna put this all over my face. So yeah, now that we've gotten the cat out of the bag, which is the fact that most Filipinos are homophobic, let's talk about in what way and what do they do. So I see that homophobic people in the US are very up in arms about it. They do stuff, and they, I think, put up signs, pitchforks. I'm just kidding, but here really it's a don't ask, don't tell kind of thing. Like, nobody just talks about it, people just sweeps it under the rug, but if you do ask them, they will tell you. And the biggest kind of homophobia that you will see are dads who are angry at their sons for being gay boys or gay men. And there is a song, I will link it below, it's called Sirena from Glock 9. It tells really what Filipino dads do if they find out that their sons are gay. So basically they would beat them, abuse them, hurt them very much, because they are very angry that their sons are gay and they're not able to accept it. So yeah, I think you should watch that video. I think it's one of, if not the most beautiful creations of music in Philippine history. Now, yeah, so that is the attitude between gay people. By the way, I'm using a stainless steel gua sha. I used to use the jade one like everybody else, but what I found was that, or what I read online, was that the pores in jade gua shas harbor bacteria, which for me especially, I have acne prone skin. That's not a good thing. So I'm using this one that's made of stainless steel. So we've established homophobia. Also, you should know this about the Philippines, that it's a very heavily Catholic country because Spain colonized us for 333 years. It's a very, very long time. And so most people are a Roman Catholic, 80% Roman Catholic. There's another big percentage of other Christian religions, and then there are Muslims and all other religions as well. would give you kind of an idea of what the culture in the country looks like. And here is just me doing a face massage with a gua sha. Please comment down below if I'm doing it wrong, because I watched a YouTube video on how to do it once, probably even watched it at like 2 times speed and was not fully focused. But I guess this is what you do. Anywho, the types of gays in the Philippines. So let's talk about gay men first. So there is only one type of gay men unless you count trans women. But gay men they look like men, and they are more effeminate typically, and they are the backbone of our society. In any aspects of Filipino culture, you would see a lot of gay men dominate, and that would include academia, entertainment, a lot of managers, there is so many gay men and trans women in Filipino entertainment industry. I will link a lot of the social media that I'm talking about below, but you would see that majority of famous people, we have a lot of gay men who are famous, and I'm not gonna say they're not discriminated against, but again, people don't talk about the gay thing so openly. It's a very taboo topic, and so it's very weird because you might be talking to someone who is homophobic, but if they're talking about a gay man who is a comedian, for example, or a gay man who is a host, they would not really say anything bad. Like, people don't think about it too much, you know what I mean? So yeah, so gay men are the backbones of our society when it comes to academia, events, festivals, all of that stuff. Makeup artists, hairstylists are all carried heavily by gay men. So if you get your makeup done on your wedding, on your graduation, 9 times out of 10 it will be done by a gay man. It will very rarely be done by a woman. So it's mostly gay men. And wedding planning, all of that fun stuff. Now the funny thing is, going back to my earlier point about majority of Filipinos being Catholic, is that we have these festivals, we have fiestas, we have big festivals in big cities. These are festivals, religious festivals in the Catholic Church. And the people who lead this, who do the choreography, who do the costumes, who plan things out, are mostly gay men. So they work hand in hand with the church, which is so bizarre, but I love it, I guess. Like, it's a very unique thing. You would not be able to hear, like, if a gay man would be the one directing a dance, and so you would never hear somebody say, hey, you shouldn't do that. That is for baby Jesus. It shouldn't be led by somebody like you. Nobody would ever say that. The words that we use to describe gay men are bakla. In my dialect is bayot, and then there's also bading. So that's it. There are no other types. I believe in the US there's so many kinds of it, but yeah, we only have bayot or bading here. Now let's talk about trans men and trans women. They don't have their own category. They just fall into gay men or gay women. There is no open discrimination against them, although they can't wear uniforms at school, but you will not be seeing, people in flashcards taking the time out of their day to comment something terrible. You will not see terrible comments in their social media. There's none of that. So people in the Philippines either leave gay people alone, even if they're homophobic, unless they're really invading each other's spaces, then there will be confrontation, just like, if they are a family member and stuff like that. But I think it's common in a lot of Asian cultures where we just shove things under the rug and not talk about it and pretend it's not happening, which is why there is no coming out in the Philippines. Like, coming out is not a thing. Like, even if you're gay, like, sometimes it's common for families to never talk about it, and you just don't introduce your girlfriend or your boyfriend, and you just pretend it's not happening until you're dead. Like, I have a friend where she has her uncle, her brother's brother is gay. No one ever talks about it, and they're old now, like they're in their 70s, but nobody mentions it. Nobody even speaks a word about it. Nobody talks about it. Is that healthy? Absolutely not. but it's what happens here. I think I would really like to speak on also the weird, strange thing, and a very wrong thing, I think, that happens in the culture of gay men in the Philippines. So there's this thing called pamayot, and that is when a gay man would find another boy, and they usually target really young boys, and they pay these boys money, and they're the one that receive the pleasure, and they're the one who gets paid in the end. And so these young boys tend to look for these older gay men to essentially make money to themselves. Yeah, it's a very common thing. It's really what happens, I believe, all over the country. And you know, it wasn't if these boys weren't underaged, you know, and there was consent, and there isn't a huge imbalance in power. But yeah, there's that happens. And so it's weird because I believe in other countries it's the opposite, right? It's the same with, like, it's the same thing that happens, where is the person who receives the pleasure is the one to pay, but it's the opposite. Now, the next category of gay people in the Philippines are gay women. Now, here is what's weird, because we call them tomboy. And you might say, well, isn't tomboy just like a boyish girl? Like, it has nothing to do with sexuality. Well, here it does. So we just call them tomboy, and that is it. That is a lesbian. There are no kinds of lesbian. Trans men, butch, and whatever this kind is, where you're a lesbian but you have long hair and you still wear a regular bra, these are all the same category. These are all the branch of tomboy. You might ask, well, where do the femme goes? It doesn't exist. If you tell a person that a femme woman, like a woman who presents herself very femininely and just like, you know, like a regular typical girl is gay, their brain would short circuit. They would not be able to comprehend. They'll be like, so who's the boy and the girl in their relationship? And all of these rude questions. Oh yeah, like, people will ask that, like, who's the boy, who's the girl, who's the top, who's the bottom, blah blah blah. I think those are the main categories. You may want to ask, then what about gay relationships? It's very rare, and if it does happen, nobody talks about it. There are very few celebrities who have had lifelong gay partners, but the weird thing with the Philippines is it's not a gay relationship. It's a straight person having a relationship with a gay person. And if, for example, a gay man were to date another man, that would not make the other man gay automatically. Most of the time, that man is still referred to as straight, just in a relationship with a gay man. So it doesn't transfer over. Like, it's possible to have two people of the same sex in a relationship, but only one of them is gay. Does it make any sense? Probably not to you, but in this country it does. The same thing with gay women in relationships. One of them could be a lesbian, but the other one could just be straight, and they could be in a relationship forever. Now, in my personal experience, it's actually more common for a lesbian and a woman to be in lasting relationships. I've seen some examples of them be together when they were young until they are old. Just a couple examples. But with gay men in my personal life specifically, I have not seen it, although there is one celebrity who has had a very, very long-term partner, and they both identify as gay. But there are many gay celebrities that one identifies as gay, but one still identifies as straight, and they live together in harmony. Yeah, so that's gay relationships for you. And also, people will be in denial for you. Like, they're just roommates. They're just friends. forever. Like, and people would not be like, they're definitely gay. No, they'd be like, nope, they're just friends. They're just roommates. Nothing suspicious at all. Yeah. But of course, with modernization, we are slowly becoming more and more similar to first world countries. People now come out of the closet and declare that they are gay. There are now different types of gay, more than the ones that I mentioned, but it's slow, and it's only a very small percent of the population which is more progressive. Now, the Philippines, just like any other country, there are progressives out there, but right now it's a very small percentage of the population. But also, hardcore conservatives are very, very, very small percentage as well. They're probably a smaller percentage than progressive people, but the biggest majority are people who don't care and who have never spent a second in their life thinking about these things at all. Because most Filipinos are in survival mode. Like, we're worried if we can feed our families, we're worried about where our money the next time we eat is gonna come from. And so really, we've not had time to think if I'm okay that my neighbors are gay. It's like, you mind your business, I mind my business, and we keep each other's spaces. Right now, one of the most pressing situation in the US is that trans performers are getting banned. But actually, in the Philippines, like, there are many trans performers in fiestas, which is like an event that a town or a city holds, and kids watch them. It's a funny thing. It's meant to be for laughs and gags, and so parents are never up in arms about it, because why? It's like, it's entertainment. So I do hope that we don't follow the direction that other countries have gone through, wherein there is a terrible discrimination and divide that goes on. I do hope we live peacefully as much as we can. So, I think it would be an injustice to not talk about pre-colonial Philippines. So if you don't know, the Philippines has been colonized by many countries for a very long time. But before that happened, we already had a gay culture. And so gays during pre-colonial Philippines were called babaylan. And these were gay people who were in high position in society at that time, and they were healers, they were leaders, they were creatives, they were visionaries. And so there was no discrimination against gay people before the colonizers came. We also didn't wear shirts, and we were very communal. So yeah, that is pre-colonial Philippines gay culture. But after the colonizers came, a lot changed. But yeah, those are the main things about Filipino gay culture. I hope you learned a thing or two. Please comment below if there are things that I didn't mention, or if you have any questions about the things that I did mention, because I think our gay culture is quite different from others. Alright, thank you so much. Bye-bye.